Here with Ian Garry, who fights at International Fight Week in a fight that he has no interest in, man.
I was like, that's one way you could start the interview. Yeah. Unfortunately, that is where we are, but we got to deal with it.
If it's not an interesting opponent, at least it looks like a very interesting camp, man. Tell me about your camp and going down to Shoot Box. I've actually been fortunate enough to go down to Sao Paulo and see that atmosphere, and so I can kind of picture it. Like even like the way the light comes in with all of those windows. It's just it is a nice place. How was your experience down there?
It's a beautiful place. Brazil is very special, and to have a team and an energy and a family like that is super, super special. The gym is beautiful, but the energy inside of it that all the people that walk through those doors possess is the biggest thing about that gym. They are just amazing humans, amazing people, and they will help you in any way, shape, and form possible to get the best out of you.
Mm-hmm. What are you looking for in a gym? Because it's no secret. I mean, some people talk about like, hey, Ian Garry doesn't like to stay at a gym for very long. What are you looking for?
Well, no, so for me, it's not that I don't stay at a gym for very long. There's so much to learn on the planet. Mm-hmm. There's so much to learn in the world. And locking myself down to one place, I believe, prohibits growth. Mm-hmm. I went and I trained in America with some of the greatest fighters in the UFC, with some of the best coaches in the world. I then went to Brazil because I wanted to focus on jiu-jitsu and adding that part of my game, whilst also mixing with the beautiful, aggressive Muay Thai style that Shoot the Box possesses. Mm-hmm. And adding to my game and piecing up different pieces of every culture or every team's option to learn and grow from that point. And I will continue to travel and I continue to learn. Mm-hmm. But Shoot the Box is my home. They're my family now. They're too special to ever leave. But I will travel the world still and learn from other people because it's too much of a missed opportunity.
Your team was telling me that you learned Portuguese to do this.
I have to. I was like, it's one of these things. So my son only speaks Portuguese.
That's
he
wild.
He understands Portuguese. So I completely get it now. Obviously, I'm like not 100% of the way there, but I'm getting there. I can understand 90% of it.
As you have traveled around and seen these different cultures, and I like the way you phrase it, like it's different aggression levels, there's different, just like there's different feels to the fight game. What are you finding that Ian Garry is? Like, what is your identity as a fighter? Where do you fit in all that?
I'm someone who seeks for knowledge. Knowledge, I believe, is the most powerful thing you can possess as a fighter, and because knowledge is having doors, having options. If a fight's not going the way I want it to go, I have this option. If the fight's not going that way, all right, switch it up, add this. Like, options and knowledge give you the keys to unlock adversity. And for me to learn from all of these different people and different styles, it gives me the ability to be able to meet adversity with a smile on my face. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's such a powerful tool to have in your back pocket.
How about, I've heard you say in a lot of interviews, of course, that you are representing Ireland. That
100%.
Obviously Conor was a big deal on this card, but you're gonna take that banner. What's been sort of your gauge and like the pulse, because you have a good pulse on things, with Conor falling out? Like, what is the Ireland support like for you? What is your relationship with Ireland and the Ireland fan base right now?
I think not just Ireland, but everyone who's a fan of MMA was disappointed to a certain extent and upset. Upset would be the more appropriate word when Conor's fight got pulled, because of how big and how special his energy is when it comes to fight week. Look, you've been grateful enough to be there around. I've never been there. Yeah. I've never been to a Conor McGregor fight week. I've never experienced that energy. You have. But I've seen it. I know it's different. I know it's like, look at the press conference room and see how many chairs are there as opposed to normally. There ain't that many chairs. He brings a different draw, far more attention than anyone else in MMA. But at the end of the day, me and him still represent the same country. And me and him both fly the flag for the Irish. And Conor famously said, when one of us goes to war, we all go to war. And having two of our horses like in the race is important. And it's better than having one. But we still have one horse in the race, and I'm him. Yep. I'm going to fly the flag for our country, and I'm going to war. My entire country is behind me.
The UFC, unfortunately, doesn't ask me to chip in on these types of ideas, but I really think that they should just do an event in Ireland with you, man. Like, main event with, you don't need, like, Conor would be great, but...
I've done everything. I've done everything I've been asked to do. And I'm going to continue to do everything that I need to do to become one of the greatest martial artists the world has ever seen. But I want to tick that box on my list. I want to bring the UFC back to Dublin, Ireland. I know I can do it. I know we can sell out a stadium. I know we could make it special. And the truth is, me and Conor could do it together and do a Croke Park and change the game and break all the records. Or I could do it on my own in the 3 Arena and warrant just bringing them back because of the pull that will have for Irish MMA and the kids that are in that country that will, from that point on, will be emotionally invested in being better and connected to my career. And hopefully there'll be one kid that will do exactly what I did and go, that's what I want to do.
Be honest, does it feel like it's getting closer, or do you feel like it's not on their radar still?
I still I still feel like it's not on their radar.
Yeah.
And when you look at someone like Max Holloway, and you see everything he's done in MMA, but they're not going to go to Hawaii because the infrastructure is just in their mind too hard.
Yeah.
I understand it, but at the same time, you've been to Ireland, you've done it, you don't have that excuse. Let me keep doing what I'm doing and let me put on a show because my fans deserve it. The Irish, as a nation, bringing the UFC back to the Emerald Isle is something that is absolutely on my list.
Yeah, and I hope it happens. I would love to see it. Let's talk a little bit about MVP. What do you think is the most, like when you're scouting him and you're sort of watching other guys, the people who have struggled with him, why? Why do you think they struggle with him?
They get frustrated. They don't know how to, they don't understand his movement, his patterns, his technique, his timing. They get frustrated because they don't have success, and then they panic. And they make mistakes, which is phenomenal from his point of view. Because that's exactly what you want to do as a fighter, is make someone feel so uncomfortable that they start to make mistakes. So from that point of view, he has a great understanding of how to frustrate people. I ain't going to get frustrated. I have all the patience in the world. I have all the time in the world. We got 15 minutes. 15 minutes is a long time to be locked in that octagon with someone. I am going to take advantage of him at some point, and I'm going to finish him.
I mean, the UFC has obviously been building you. They've invested in you. They're tactical with the way they match-made you. Every fight has been a gradual step up. Do you see that as this one? Is he better than? Is he more challenging than Jeff Neal?
I don't think he's more challenging than Jeff Neal, but I think Jeff Neal had such power that it was like you really have to respect him. I don't believe MVP has the same strength, but I believe his awkwardness from a stylistic point of view absolutely warrants the respect. And you said it at the start of the show, I have no interest in fighting him. I have no interest in fighting him. I've said it from day one. I want to fight people higher up the ranks than me. I want to earn the opportunity to be a world champion, and I want to do it against the best guys in the UFC. Fighting him, for me, just feels like more of a ball ache than it does anything else. It's like, all right, I've got a style that's not very common, but I'll go out there and I'll do it. I have adapted this championship mentality now that I am one of the best in the world, and it doesn't matter who's across that octagon. I'm going to have to prove it now. And so that's been the shift in mindset for me, because I still don't want to fight him, but I just have to go out there and prove it. All right, there's a reason I'm ranked higher than you, and everyone in the world's going to find out why.
I've seen you say also that with all the movement that he does, but you believe he's going to be cautious in this
100%,
fight.
100%.
Does that mean that we're in a situation where?
And he's going to tell you he will be. And on fight night, he's going to just do all this funny movement, going to fucking throw his hands up in the air, move his feet, all to try distract me. And I'm just going to stand there and be like, whenever you're ready, let's dance.
Yeah.
But if you just want to keep doing that stupid fucking movement, then off you go.
Yeah. And
I'll be there.
And it is not, you don't have to fight in any way that he is trying to get you to. But does that build a concern then of you're trying to build your name, and are the fans going to start booing in this fight? Is there a concern in this?
No, I don't think so, because I think he is the type of person, he is a showman. He is a showman. And if he hears that, he will want to put on that show. And I believe so am I. I will be out there and I will do exactly the same thing. I will try run through him. Both of us are going to be intelligent about it, but I believe he's going to be far more cautious, knowing the weapons I possess. He's not going to be so aggressive with me, and I promise you. And if he is, then it's going to be an easy night.
Last thing for you, and let's see if we can create one of those things that maybe whenever the case is, this is a little clip that they throw on the countdown show, because you have a good gauge on things. You know how the game works. When and where do you think Ian Garry fights for a UFC championship?
I think I'd want it to be in Vegas. I think I have such a connection with Vegas. I got married here. I had my first baby scan here when my wife was pregnant. I absolutely love and adore the energy around Vegas. I think it's just it's chaotic. and I love it. I thrive in that chaos. So I feel like I would want it to be in Vegas, and I feel like it's going to be in 2 to 3 fights time. I feel like potentially we're looking at an international fight weeks next year where I get that belt wrapped around my waist, and it's the end of the welterweight division as we know, because I am dominating this for years to come.
All right, we'll see. Maybe Conor will headline, and maybe we'll be using this clip next international
I don't know
fight
if I'm fighting for the title, I'm taking the headline spot. So we can have an ego battle over that between the two of us.
That's true.
But if I'm fighting for a world title and I'm on my come up, maybe that's where I'll try
you
to
would
pull
tell
right.
him to throw
Maybe
it, huh?
I'll try. Look, I think he'd sit down and go, kid, back in your fucking lane. And that's what I would do if I was him.
I would love to see
But
that.
we'll see. You never know. Like, that he's very special. So if there's an opportunity where I can win a world title on the same show as him, on the same card as him, sign me up every day of the week.
Yep.